All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. and what Jermell Charlo had to say about fighting him. Very interesting information. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We are going to talk about the 147-pound and the 154-pound division, specifically Errol Spence Jr. and comments made by Jermell Charlo about a fight between the two of them. But before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. Subscribers, thank you so much for your support. If you are not subscribed, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also make sure you select all notifications so that you get all of the notifications, or otherwise you'll just get them occasionally and you may miss some of the good boxing conversations that we have here on this boxing forum. And since I'm talking about a very touchy subject, and that is a fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo, and what Jermell Charlo said in an interview that just came up yesterday. I have to say that this is a boxing forum. I am fully aware that everybody of the fights that everybody wants to see and the fights that are being currently made right now. Errol Spence Jr. is a two-belt holder at 147 pounds and will be fighting Errol'S Ugas in his next fight coming up April 16th. And after that, many people in the boxing world want to see Errol Spence Jr. fight Terrence Crawford. For Jermell Charlo's part, Jermell Charlo is going to be having an undisputed championship fight with Brian Castano coming up, I do believe, in the second week of May. You guys can check the record on that, but it is going to be an undisputed championship fight from Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano, a rematch of a fight that they had last year that's been postponed a couple times, going to be in LA. Those are the fights that are going to actually be taking place. Now, Jermell Charlo, however, was asked by ES News in a very, very good interview. He had also given out, was on his Instagram and gave a very long Instagram post, did a very long Instagram post and kind of hit it on these things as well. And this subject about Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo came up recently again. And back in, I do believe it was 2017, Errol Spence Jr. was asked whether or not he would fight Jermell Charlo for the 154 pounds. And he said, absolutely, I wouldn't have any problem fighting my friends. Yeah, I like Jermell, but I'll fight Jermell. You know, as much as a friend of his as he is of mine, I'm not going to let friendship get in the way of my legacy or keep me from going for championships and all that. You know, if he's going to be at that weight class and I come to that weight class, we're either going to have to fight. And if he doesn't want to fight, then he can vacate. But other than that, I'm not letting anything get in the way of what I came to boxing to do. And that was to win championships. So once he gets done at 147, he's going to 154. If Jermell is the undisputed champion, that's what he said back in I think it was 2016 or 2017. And now he reiterated it maybe a week ago and said the second part of what I just said, which was that once he gets done, winning undisputed, he's got the fight with Errol'S Ugas. And after he gets past that, he wants to fight Terrence Crawford. If not, whatever the case is, 2 more fights at 147, then he's at 154. If Jermell is there, then the fight is going to happen, right? So Jermell Charlo gave some information that I was not aware of before, and it came out in a way where it was like, you know what? I like Jermell Charlo, man. Jermell Charlo is being very politically correct when it comes to this situation with Errol Spence. And Ellie Sethback asked him, would you fight Errol Spence Jr. if Errol Spence Jr. was at 154? And Jermell Charlo said, look, man, we've already fought. And he's like, what? Yeah, he said, yeah, we fought in the amateurs. And so there's not a case of I would not fight Errol Spence Jr. because we've already fought. And then what he said was, and then Ellie Sethback asked him, who won the fight. And he said, I believe he said, I did 2-0. So like they fought 2 times and he won 2 of them and Errol won none. But he said, look, that was in the juniors. That really doesn't matter, right? Yeah, even though it didn't matter, he did mention it though, right? And that's a fact. But anyway, whatever the case is, I assume that that's a fact because Jermell said it, and I don't see why he would make that up. So pretty much alluding to the fact, like, yeah, man, I would fight him. But he's like, look, man, what happened in the amateurs happened in the amateurs. Errol Spence Jr. is a dog. And also, Errol Spence Jr. got a big ego. He's going to want to get he's going to come in there. He's going to fight. He's going to want to make the fight, right? So Jermell, while he didn't say that he wanted to fight Errol Spence or that's something he would be looking to do, right? Like calling him out or whatever. But he basically said, look, man, I've already fought him before. If Errol Spence Jr. comes, I know what he's going to want to do. He's going to want to fight. He's got a big ego. I got a big ego. He's a dog. I'm a dog. That's just kind of what happens. So anyway, so my take on what he said was he was really trying not to, add any fuel to the fire. And that's fair, not adding any fuel to the fire, right? Because they're friends and he's got another fight he's got to get to. And Errol's got a fight that he's got to get to. And there's a lot of different things that would have to take place in order for those guys to get in the ring. But at the same time, he did not walk out of it and say, hey, man, no, I would not fight Errol Spence Jr. And it sounded like he understood that that was a real thing. So my take on the matter is this. I want to see any good fights that I can actually get to see. All right. Now, there are priorities of fights and things that I would like to see in the order that I would like to see them. No doubt about it. In the situation like Canelo Alvarez, I would take any of the fight. I would prefer to see him fight Jermell Charlo. But if he fought Benavidez, I wouldn't have a problem with him fighting Benavidez before he fought Charlo or Andrade before he fought Charlo. I just want to see him fight guys at that weight class before he goes to fight guys in other weight classes, right? It's just what it is. But if I don't get the fight when I want to get it, I'm going to still want to get it even after he fights Bivol, right? Same thing goes with Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo. I never cared that these guys were friends at all. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't resonate to me as a boxing fan because I watch boxing because I want to see really good fights, right? Now, I do enjoy all the banter and the back and forth and all the other stuff that goes around boxing, talking about the business of boxing. Some people call it pocket watching or whatever. But hey, man, I'm not interested in basketball. I'm not interested in football. So I'll talk about pretty much anything related to boxing other than the personal lives of the boxers themselves, their wives and their children and things that are just off limit and have nothing to do with the sport of boxing. But I would definitely do not care. I definitely do not care about whether or not somebody is one boxer is a personal friend of another. Because I assume, dude, that there's, in every other profession, people can be friends, can hang out off the court. They can, they may be a team member for years and years on the same team. And then they switch to another team and they got to try to beat the other guy. If these dudes can't be big enough professionals to let it go after they get out of the ring, and say, hey, man, good fight, and, make up after the fact. That's not on me. I don't care. I want to see the Errol Spence Jr. Jermell Charlo fight because I think that would be a very, very exciting fight. I would be on the edge of my seat just to see it. Even though I would tell you, as far as the progression of the fights go, yeah, I would rather see the Terrence Crawford fight with Errol Spence Jr. I would rather see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. right now instead of the Ugas fight, right? I understand why Errol Spence is fighting Ugas first and the ease of making the fight and all that stuff, but I would still prefer to see that fight. That isn't to say, though, however, if a certain fight doesn't happen, that there's no other fights that I'm willing to watch for another guy, especially if there's a potential that the real fight that I want to see can still happen down the road. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you again for listening to the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, share the video. It really does help the channel grow. And with that, I'm out. Peace.